Yeah, so started like late in year 12 when like we're in the middle of lockdown 2020, and a mate of mine had a bet that he could get more TikTok views in a week than I could. And because he came to school and he was like, "Oh, I got 30,000 views on this video." And back then in 2020, like 30,000 on TikTok was like unbelievable views. And I was like, I reckon I could beat that. So then we had a little side bet. It was like $20 for the week. And I reckon I got to about 50,000. I just posted like 15 videos in the week, and I was just posting whatever I could to try and get
really hedging your bets.
Yeah, I was scattergun operation, just like post this, post that, sports, lifestyle, fitness, everything that you could think of under the sun. I posted about it, and I reckon I just pipped him. He posted like 2 videos. I posted 15, and I somehow won. But then I just enjoyed the creative process of that. So I just kept going, and through lockdown into my first year of uni, when I was stuck in my dorm room, it was like I'd moved out of home, moved away from my hometown, was living on a uni campus, couldn't go anywhere because it was locked down. It was like, well, how can I speak to people? Like I want to talk, and I want to have conversations about sport, and I want to have these debates that I had at school lunchtime with all my mates about footy. How can I have that without my mates being here? Like, post on the internet. Perfect place to get feedback is to post online to absolutely everyone. So I started talking about sport on online and on TikTok, and I was just posting out opinion pieces and some comedy bits here and there about sport, and how can I change the way sport's spoken about, sort of more with the younger generation. I just kept doing that for years and years and years, and eventually you hit sort of your mold after you've made, daily videos for 2 or 3 years. You sort of hit what works and what doesn't, and you start to grow a little bit. But those first couple of years are a little bit grim. But you just keep going, you slowly build up an audience. People start to trust you. You become part of people's daily routine, where I'd have the same 20 people comment on every single video every single day for years, where it was like I'd post about this and we get the same sort of debates in the comment section. And as soon as you can build that audience and that connection, you become really confident in your own abilities, but you also become really valuable to companies. Companies want to tap into that trust, and that's where Fox came in with this competition where a lot of creators put their hand up. But I think what made me stand out was I'd had this
What was the competition that Fox ran?
So Fox, it was Kayo ran a competition where they wanted to find the next talent. It was a big PR stunt, realistically, where it was an 8-week sort of internship at Fox, and it was open to anyone. You post a video, they get shortlisted, you go in for a couple interviews, and then they sort of announce someone as on the coverage for Super Saturdays, which is Fox's exclusive rights footy day. So I didn't want to enter the competition. I ended up doing it on the final possible day when I got a call from someone who said, you should really enter this. So I did. And then, I think it's just having that backing of Fox looking at my accounts and my comments and saying, this guy's got some genuine engagement here. And he's built up this trust with the audience where if we bring him in, he's clearly got this ability to build relationships with that, like people he's never met before. And people trust his voice and people want to hear his voice. And I think I got a lot of comments when it got announced, like, oh, they're just plucking someone from random off the street, overnight success sort of situation. But I think Jess Webster, the brilliant Triple M commentator, said the best, like, the overnight success is 3, 4, 5 years of work that gets you to the point where you can have that overnight success. And those 3 or 4 years for me was me in my uni dorm room filming myself getting 200 views for 3 years straight. Like, and so it's like that build up of skill set and trust and community engagement got me to that point. So it's been a weird journey, from a little side bet in year 12 to 4 or 5 years later being on TV talking about footy.
And mate, it's incredible what you're doing at your age as well. And I was chatting with Cheats from Type Media the other day, and he had the same sort of thing whereby he's creating videos for about 3 years, to the point where he's collabing with the AFL and whatnot. And we had the same discussion that's taken him 3 years to become an overnight success. Yeah. Similar sort of thing happened for SportsGrad. It was like 3 years of YouTube with no one watching to then it hit number 1 on the careers charts when COVID hit. And everyone's like, oh, what's this new thing? It's like, no, I've actually been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But one thing you said before really struck my interest around the amount of content you put out to test and learn. Because I talk with a lot of people who are getting active on LinkedIn for the first time, and one of the biggest barriers that they face is, what are people going to think of me? And when you're just talking about like your approach to seemed like not even caring or thinking what people are going to think, but I'm just going to put 15 videos out, wide variety of range. Let's see what sticks. What goes through your head when you're thinking of putting yourself out there in that broad way?
A whole lot of terror and anxiety, because you are like putting yourself out there, which is scary. But you've got to realize that the fact is, no one actually cares. Realistically, like, no one actually cares what you're doing, whether you make a mistake or whether your videos are cringy or like, no one actually cares. Like, the people who are going to watch are going to watch, and the people who aren't going to watch aren't going to watch. Like, whatever you do put out, it doesn't exactly matter until you start getting that traction going, but you have to put things out to get the traction going. So you almost have to sit back and look at it as like as you're just throwing rocks into the water, trying to find gold. So like, for the first 2 years, it was like genuinely stuck in, I think a lot of people got like 400 view jail on TikTok. It was like, that's what it was for 2 years. Like, and I was posting every day. So there would have been 600-700 videos on TikTok where the most amount of views I was getting was like maybe 1,000 on a good day. And I was like, if I had 1,000, like, that is incredible. But you just keep posting things out, and the people are going to comment things and whatever. It still happens now. Like, I've got a relatively big audience, and you try something new, and all of the comments are, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be talking about that. Like, this sucks. And it's like, okay. But in 2 months, if I keep going, and I keep refining things slowly and slowly, eventually you'll get to the point where you're creating a really good product. But you have to start from somewhere. It's like, make a video or make a post, look back at it, and if no one sees it, or if 20 people see it, say, I can change the way I worded it at the start, or I can change this sentence, or I can change the way I filmed, or I can change the lighting, or I can change the pace. And it's like, I look at videos that were doing really well last year and go, geez, that's a bit grim. But last year it did really well. And in a year, I'll look at the videos that I'm making now and say, oh, really struggling, or like really should have changed that, or I should have known this. But you don't know anything until you've tried it. So you just have to keep trying and trying and trying and trying and keep putting yourself out there, because eventually you'll learn so many new skills and you'll learn what works and what doesn't. But you don't learn until you put yourself in the situation where you can learn.